On November 14, 2022, an incident occurred at an SKLD Wyoming nursing home involving a staff member named Sue and a visitor named Michelle. Sue, the administrator of the facility, called the police on Michelle, accusing her of trespassing and taking pictures of her mother without permission. Despite Michelle's claims that she had not committed any crime and that the nursing home was a public facility, the police quickly convicted her of trespassing and detained her.
She's not on the trespass list, so officially trespasser.
There you go.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Sue. I'm the administrator. So we have a family member who had an allegation against her, and so we've reached out to her and let her know that if she wants to visit, we need to meet with the team here and figure out a way we can keep the mom from being. Her guardian does not even want her to visit, but we talked her into letting her. If we do supervised or promise that she won't take pictures of her mom and put them all over Facebook and TikTok and stuff because the guardian doesn't want that happening. She came in, refused to talk to me, slammed the door in my face, wouldn't let me in the room. So,
You want to trespass?
yeah, at this point,
best
yes,
way to get her out of
until she will come in and meet with us and figure out what we
you
can
can always
do.
take the no trespass order away, but let's get her trespass
Because I don't want to not let her see her mother, but she needs to do it so we can keep the mom safe.
During the encounter, Michelle argued that the nursing home, being publicly funded, should not be able to trespass on her without reasonable cause. She even mentioned contacting the facility's vice president, who allegedly stated that she had not committed any crime. Michelle believed that her actions were protected by her First Amendment rights, allowing her to visit the facility and take pictures freely. However, the police insisted that trespassing occurred because the nursing home, as private property, had the authority to restrict entry as they deemed necessary. They maintained that Michelle's refusal to cooperate and meet with the facility's team justified her trespass conviction.
Pretty much like anywhere, just like if you walk into a speedway, they can say, hey, I don't want this person here anymore. Doesn't matter what the reason for. If they tell me that, and they want you they say, hey, I want them trespassed.
So when I come back tomorrow, I go to jail?
Yeah, you can't come back until you
I
figure it
will
out.
be coming back.
Okay.
And I already let the vice president and president, I spoke to them today. They said, we haven't heard anything. Well, then why are they doing this? You might want to call her.
Call them and tell them to talk to Sue then.
Correct.
That's the best you can do right now.
Yep, this is just I'm sorry, this is a fucking joke.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong, but so don't come back on the property until you clear it up with the vice
I'm coming
president.
back tomorrow. I'll be here every day, and I don't care if I go to jail. I've already been told by lawyers, by the advocates that help Britney Spears. National News, the News 8, everybody's on this. So they've already told me, if you have to push the envelope, because that's just going to seal the lawsuit. Huh?
You're not going to be able to do that.
No, but it'll seal the deal when I'm getting arrested for no crime.
Okay.
Trespassing not be the crime.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They can't say I'm trespassing when I've committed no crime.
That is the crime. That's what we're trying to tell you.
Michelle expressed her frustration and stated her intention was to return to the facility, disregarding the trespass warning. She believed that her case had gained significant attention, citing advice from lawyers and advocates who had helped Britney Spears. She asserted that pushing the envelope and standing up for her rights would strengthen her potential lawsuit against the nursing home. Furthermore, Michelle claimed that one of the police officers violated her Fourth Amendment rights during her detainment. She alleged that he forcefully tried to seize her phone while she was attempting to inform her children of the situation. Despite not having committed any crime that warranted handcuffing, she was restrained by the officer.
I'm not going to see you.
Okay, well then you're going to be detained until we figure that out then.
Huh?
Then you're detained until we figure that out.
Why are you detaining me?
Because right now you have to be trespassed.
Okay, well, can I make one phone call?
Nope, you have to give me your driver's license.
I don't
just tell me your name.
Give you already know my name.
Okay, can you write down her name?
Oh my God!
Exactly how it's spelled.
So
until we can find you and we can figure out who you are.
Hold on,
Exactly.
I'm gonna call and let them know. Go pick up my kids, and I'm being arrested.
You're not being arrested right now.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
being detained.
So detained and arrested are two different things. Being
Hold
arrested
on.
means that you've been charged for something. Being detained is temporary.
Hold on, I'm being detained
Okay. Do you want to?
because I won't give them my license.
All right. So
I've done nothing wrong.
What's your date of birth?
I've committed no crime.
What's your date of birth?
I committed no crime.
Okay, now you're being detained then.
Police officer.
And then we'll get a fingerprint scanner and then we'll figure it out. Let go of the phone.
Randy, you want to work with the police.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right now, you need to
We're not
present
playing games with you.
Only
It
if
ain't
I've committed a crime
not
and
true.
reasonable articulable suspicion, and I've done nothing of the
So
sort.
right now you've been trespassed, okay?
Uh-huh.
So we need to identify you so we
Uh-huh.
can successfully trespass you by doing our lawful job.
Okay.
Michelle's perspective on the incident raises concerns about the staff's handling of her visitation rights and the violation of her constitutional rights by the police officers. She intends to take legal action, asserting that her rights were infringed upon throughout the incident. In yet another troubling incident that occurred on October 31, 2022, a visually impaired man named Jim Hodges was illegally arrested and detained by 2 Columbia County cops in Florida. The officers, Deputy Jamie Godey and Sergeant Randy Harrison, claimed that the walking stick Hodges had in his back pocket was a firearm, leading to his arrest without lawful authority. The encounter was captured on video by Hodges himself. When the officers approached him and questioned the object in his back pocket, Hodges explained that it was a walking stick. However, the officers insisted on obtaining his identification and detained him, citing their suspicion he was carrying a weapon.
Hi there. What's this in your back pocket? I just saw you walking it.
It's a navigational aid. What's the problem? You a tyrant?
Yeah, I am actually. What's your name and date of birth?
I don't have to give that unless
Yes,
I'm
sir. I was
You
investigating.
have reasonable
Do you want me to
articulated
put you in
suspicion.
handcuffs right now? Yes, sir, I do.
Hodges questioned the officer's authority and refused to provide his identification, stating he had not committed a crime. He asserted that his Fourth Amendment rights protected him from unreasonable searches and seizures without probable cause or a warrant. Despite Hodges' explanations, the officers continued to detain him and insisted on checking his identification.
Well, you're being one to me.
No, sir, I'm
Have a
doing my
good day.
job.
Am I detained?
Yeah, you are. What's your name and date of birth?
It does not matter.
Yes, sir, it does.
Do you have a crime?
Would you like me
Call
to
your
put you in?
supervisor,
He's right
please.
here.
All right.
You don't.
Where would you stop for? For a walking stick.
So-
And it could look like a weapon. She asked you to really present it, okay? Now she's asking me for ID. Okay. I don't need the ID unless there's reasonable articulated suspicion that I have committed a crime and committing a crime or about to do a crime. Sir, and her suspicion was that you were armed, okay? And she's asking you for your ID. Well, now she has verified that I am not armed. Okay. So there is no problem. You have your ID or not? I do have my ID, but you don't need it. Okay. You're on? Okay. Sure, you do that.
77 Whiskey Mike 15. Where's Walden?
Where's your wallet at, sir? I don't have a wallet on me.
Okay, where's your ID?
Where's your ID at? Pocket. Which pocket? You are not allowed to search me.
It's in this pocket.
There you go.
Thank you.
The incident constitutes a clear violation of Hodges' Fourth Amendment rights, which protect against unreasonable searches, seizures, and false imprisonment. Florida statutes define false imprisonment as forcibly confining, abducting, imprisoning, or restraining another person without lawful authority and against their will. In this case, the officers wrongly arrested and detained Hodges, despite identifying the object in his back pocket as a walking stick.
It's gonna be. I want your name and your badge number. You know, I'll put you in jail for resisting.
Okay. All right, let's go.
I want your name and badge number too, sir.
Have a seat.
You want to pick my property up, please?
I sure will, after you have a seat.
You want to pull this out of my back pocket?
Sure. Here, I'll grab your jacket for you, too.
After an investigation by the sheriff's office, it was determined that Deputy Godey and Sergeant Harrison had violated several department policies. As a result, Sergeant Harrison was immediately demoted and suspended without pay for 7 days, while Deputy Godey received a 2-day suspension. Both officers were also required to undergo remedial training on civil rights. Hodges has retained an attorney and plans to file a lawsuit against the Columbia County Sheriff's Office. He's also requesting a federal investigation into the incident. The case highlights the importance of protecting individuals' constitutional rights and holding law enforcement accountable for any violations. In this next video, in May of 2020, an incident unfolded in Columbia County, Georgia, where a man was filming a video outside the store. However, the owners of the store called the police on him, prompting officers from the Columbia County Sheriff's Office to respond. The officer in charge approached the man and requested his identification, citing a call about his videotaping activity.
Yeah, we got a call about your videotaping
Yeah,
on the property. Do you have it?
No, I'm not on their property. I never step on nobody's property.
Oh, okay.
No, sir.
No, I just got the call.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
Do you have a driver? Or
Well, I don't show my ID. I don't do nothing wrong. You understand? I'm filming in public, giving people free advertisement, and they approach me. And if you could just tell them that I'm not doing anything wrong, and
But you weren't on the property.
no, sir, I'm very careful not to do that. I'll pull GIS surveys, and been doing this a long
What are you
time.
videoing for, if you don't mind me asking?
First Amendment, protected activity, just
doing like
yeah, free advertisement.
Do you live around here? Are you from here? I'm
not from around here. Most people know me. I do this. I go around and, show people right from wrong, wrong from right. And, when they say they call the police, I don't leave. Yeah.
Just checking on it.
Yeah.
But you were never on the property?
No, I'm very close. Never ever to do that. Matter of fact, as far as I was right there at the edge of the curtilage, the GIS survey starts.
The man asserted that he had not committed any wrongdoing and explained that he was filming in a public area to provide free advertisement. He emphasized that he was careful not to trespass or infringe upon anyone's rights. Refusing to show his identification, he relied on his understanding of Georgia law, which states that unless someone has broken the law, they are not required to identify themselves. The officer alleged that the man had trespassed on the store's property, despite video evidence proving otherwise. However, the officer persisted in requesting identification to potentially charge the man with trespassing. The man maintained his innocence and questioned the basis for his detention, as he had not committed any crime.
Unless I've broken the law, you don't have to ID in the state of Georgia. Am I being detained?
Well, for the moment, yes.
For what crime?
Till we find out what's going on.
To what crime am I being committed?
We were called because you were on their property.
Right, and he determined I wasn't.
Okay. Hang tight just a minute, we'll get you out.
Am I being detained for an unlawful reason? Yes or no?
Right now, you're being detained because you were on their property, and we're trying to find out what's going on.
Okay, and I can prove that I wasn't on their property, and they can't prove that I was. Or, there again, issue me a trespass, I'll be on my way, and then we'll go to court, but...
A staff sergeant arrived at the scene, and the man recounted the entire incident, including his rights and the lack of any illegal activity. As the man spoke, the two deputies involved in the arrest stood by, seemingly embarrassed.
Morning, sir.
How are you? What was your name and badge number, sir?
Sure, it's Staff Sergeant Johnson, 93159.
Hey, Johnson. I was explaining to them, I'm out here exercising my rights, First Amendment right. Private property starts about 1.2 foot on the other side of that telephone pole per government document survey. Well, okay. Anyway, I did my homework. I'm down here giving some people free advertisement. They called the police to me. This deputy here legally detained me for 18 minutes and 32 seconds for no suspicion of nothing. He told me that I had to show him my identification to be trespassed. I explained to him I was on the curtilage of that road. Right there, their property starts at the front tire of that VW.
Okay.
And I'm trying to exercise my rights. Both of them gentlemen stood in a auditorium or courthouse with their hand on a Bible, and they swore an oath to protect my civil rights.
Yes, sir.
He's wanting my Fourth Amendment violated. He's wanting my First Amendment violated. And they called the police to me and lied. I got 28 minutes of video that shows me doing exactly what I'm doing right now on public property, exercising my right as an American.
And any time did you go on their property?
No, sir. Look. He knows exactly who I am.
Which one?
To the left.
Okay.
And I told him I'm gonna file a formal complaint on him and him. And y'all have never, ever had a problem with Columbia County.
Right.
Ever. And once you realize who I am and what I'm doing, and it really makes y'all look bad, man. And I'm illegally detained for no crime. Right. That's a.
As long as you haven't been on their property, that's fine.
Absolutely.
Because you're outside their property, and you're legally doing what you need
absolutely.
To do.
Can you explain that to them so they don't violate anybody else's rights?
And they don't want you on their property.
Absolutely.
So
and I don't go on their
property. That's why they were just saying a criminal trespass warning. So you've been warned.
I've been warned the first time that don't get an ID. The second time you do. See, he didn't know that. He didn't know that.
I'm good to go with you if you're.
Well, I'm good to go. Am I still detained? Thank you. And thank you. I'll wait till y'all leave and then I'll leave.
The staff sergeant acknowledged the man's explanation and confirmed that he had not been on the store's property. The man expressed his intention to file a formal complaint against the deputy who detained him, citing violations of his Fourth Amendment rights and First Amendment rights. Eventually, the deputies conceded there was no illegality in the man's filming activity and allowed him to leave without further detainment. This incident serves as a reminder of the importance of understanding and upholding individuals' constitutional rights, even during encounters with law enforcement.
Scandals always blow up on the internet, and this specific one might blow your mind. This is the story of Meghan Hall, a female police officer from a small U.S. police station in Tennessee who allegedly slept with 6 male officers from the same department. Who is Meghan Hall, and why was she accused of having affairs with 6 of her fellow co-workers? Let's dive into the story and see what happened.
Toxic workplace behind closed doors and how sexual misconduct spiraled out of control.
All of social media was baffled when the news of a female police officer from a small police station in La Vergne, Tennessee, USA, came to the forefront. She was accused of having an affair with her co-worker. Not 1 or 2, but 6 co-workers. How did the news come out? Who ratted her out? Hall's deed was all over the internet, and she literally became a small celebrity overnight. However, not for good reasons. Meghan, who had always wanted to become an actress from her childhood, unfortunately ended up being a police officer, and that's how her world started to fall apart. Meghan met Jedediah Hall and fell in love with him. He was the son of a local pastor. The two got married in the year 2018. As her acting career was a long-lost dream, she decided to join the La Vergne Police Department in Tennessee, and her husband, Jed, became a park ranger. Both of them seemed to be having a good time and were a perfect couple that everyone envied. There were many pictures of them sharing smiles and being deeply in love with one another. But remember how the saying goes, appearances are deceptive. However, Meghan later revealed that she and her husband, Jed, were having some serious issues in their marriage. These marital issues were exactly what paved the way for the events that followed. As Meghan was not satisfied with her marriage, she decided to do things the way she liked and have some fun on the way. However, her road to fun led her to get involved in some seriously questionable acts. Meghan and her co-workers engaged in some spicy sessions within the confines of the police department, and these included patrol officers Juan Lugo Perez, Louis Powell, Detective Seneca Shields, and Sergeant Henry T. McGowan, who were all fired from their positions along with Meghan. However, there were more officers involved, which included Patrick Magliacco, Larry Holliday, and Gavin Showborough, who got suspended after the investigation. It didn't take much time for the whole world to know about the ordeal. Not only was Meghan accused of wild sexual misconduct, but also having steamy romps with the 6 male officers, which included illicit on-duty liaison. On December 122, 2022, the police department received a shocking complaint. Thanks to a whistleblower, the mayor Jason Cole had found out that there were some serious things going on in his town's police department. An unknown person had ratted Meghan out and her sexcapades with her fellow officers, and these acts happened not only at hotels, motels, and boat parties, but also while on duty. These officers who were supposed to be serving the society and their nation. The head of human resources of the La Vergne Police Department, Andrew Patton, investigated into this scandal, who revealed some shocking detail. Meghan and her husband were on the verge of filing for a divorce and were on the way to solving their problems before Meghan's scandalous activities came to everybody's notice. Meghan had tricked the officers into thinking that she was in an open relationship with Jed, which was totally a big fat lie. Officer McGowan, who is seemingly the whistleblower to the mayor, had a meeting with Hall and Jed when she had joined the police force initially. Things got out of hand while at McGowan's house. Meghan and the officer's wife stripped off their clothes while they played strip on Uno. Paul was allegedly trying to get Jed to go with the flow, however. Jed was really upset with all the things that were unfolding. He did not want himself to be persuaded, but despite his feelings, Meghan and McGowan reportedly made out. The officer even sent pictures of his genitals to Meghan. McGowan, being the whistleblower, denied having any affairs with Meghan despite all the evidence and was fired for lying during the investigation. Patrick Magliacco, another one of the officers, admitted that he had been with Hall on various occasions. He also revealed that his wife Amy and Meghan made out after learning that Meghan and her husband had an open marriage. According to his testimony, he and his wife Amy had been in an open relationship with Megan since the spring of 2022. There was a time when Jedediah had walked in on Megan and Amy making out. They even tried to get Jed into a wife-swapping session. Jedediah, disgusted at what he had seen, departed the room and was quite uncomfortable with the whole situation, because how could a sane married man be into something like this? However, this is just the beginning. The wildest part of the whole ordeal took place on Memorial Day, when all the officers in the department were invited to a Girls Gone Wild hot tub party, which was hosted by an officer called Stats on a boat that he owned. Some officers even came with their whole family, which even included their underage children. According to another officer named Durham, in an isolated incident, Magliocco was forcing vodka down Hall's throat, and then suddenly Halls took her top off, and seeing this, stay-ats jumped at Hall and stopped her from drinking and covered her up in order to protect Hall. Both stay-ats and Durham never had any illicit relationship with Halls, or so they claimed. Hall even fell down a flight of stairs at the party before having intercourse with Magliocco. According to Magliocco, Hall was prone to drinking, claiming that she once had even driven home after being drunk at his house party. Magliocco claimed that Hall was prone to self-harm and that she shouldn't be left alone. Hall even pointed an empty gun to her head and pulled the trigger so that she could hear what it sounded like. Hall was quite open about the relationship she had with the K-9 officer Larry Holliday in the first interview. However, she claimed that her steamy sessions with Holliday happened a long time ago. Holliday claimed that he had once invited Hall and other officers to his home to watch the football game. There was some serious drinking involved, and talks broke out about having a threesome between Holliday, Hall, and Holliday's ex-girlfriend. However, he claimed that nothing happened at the party. However, he later came clean about his sexual encounters with Hall, often booking hotel rooms for their liaison. Though she denied many of the allegations initially, she later confessed that she had often sent nude images of her to many officers on duty, including McGowan, to whom she sent her feet pictures. Megan, on the other hand, broke her silence on the issue after being fired due to the scandal that had come to the notice of the officials. Hall said that she was terrorized into having intercourse with her superiors, who sexually harassed her frequently. She revealed that she felt sexually groomed. She filed a lawsuit where she named some high-profile police officers from the Laverne Police Department and accused them of having taken advantage of her troubled marriage. Her 51-page lawsuit stressed that what happened with her is not rape. Instead, it was a situation where she had to give in from the pressure. Hall's lawyer, Wesley Clark, said that Megan wasn't looked at like a rookie cop to be trained and promoted, but like a piece of meat to be sexualized and exploited. Hall said, "I know what most people are saying. You know, you could have said no, I get it. But my response to them is I did say no, and he wouldn't take no for an answer." Hall was not in a good mental state and was vulnerable, and the officers took advantage of her situation and used it for their personal gain and satisfying their sexual need. Hall later stated, "I got stupid, I got desperate, and guys are guys and they'll stick their thing in anything." The most shocking part of this whole ordeal is that Hall's husband said that he would stay with his infidel wife even though he knows what wrong she had committed. What do you think of this? Was dismissing all the officers involved an appropriate punishment? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that bell icon, subscribe to our channel. We will be back with more updates.